call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Standing Senate Committee on National Security, Defence and Veterans Affairs. I'm Tony Dean, representing Ontario, the chair of the committee. I'm joined today by my fellow committee members who I will invite to introduce themselves, beginning on my right with our deputy chair.
Jean-Guy Dagenet du Québec.
Victor O, Ontario.
Senator Don Plett, Manitoba.
Claude Carignan du Québec.
Marty Deacon, Ontario. Hello.
Peter Harder, Ontario.
Heidi Labucan Benson, Treaty 6 Territory, Alberta.
Peter Beam, Ontario.
Andrew Cardozo, Ontario.
Donna Dasco, Ontario.
San Yusuf, Ontario.
Stan Kuchar, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, colleagues. And to my left is the committee's chair, chair clerk, Erica DuPont, who supports us so well every week. Colleagues, we're going to pick up where we left off on our clause-by-clause consideration of Bill-C21, an act to amend certain acts and to make certain consequential amendments respecting firearms. You will recall that at Wednesday's meeting we stood carrying the bill until today. We will now move through the final decisions that are required to and finalise the observations proposed by committee members. It is my hope that we can move through these items efficiently today. And before I say any more, I thank you all for your flexibility as we tried to sort out the final meeting time for this evening. It was very, very helpful. If there are no objections, we will begin. The first item of business is to move the bill, shall Bill C21 enact to amend certain acts and to make certain consequential amendments respecting firearms carry, colleagues. On division? No. A recorded vote? Recorded vote, please, Madam Clerk.
The Honourable Senator Dean.
Yay.
The Honourable Senator Beam.
Yay.
The Honourable Senator Cardozo.
Yay.
L'Honorable Sénateur Carignan, CP.
No.
L'Honorable Sénateur Dagenet.
No.
The Honourable Senator Dasco.
Yes.
The Honourable Senator Deacon.
Yay.
The Honourable Senator Harder.
Yes.
The Honourable Senator Kuchar.
Yes.
The Honourable Senator Labucan Benson.
Yes.
The Honourable Senator O.
No.
The Honourable Senator Yusuf.
Yes.
And the Honourable Senator Plett.
No.
Yes, oui, 9, 9. No, non, 4, 4.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Accordingly, colleagues, the bill is carried. Thank you for your participation as we've been through the consideration of the bill. Does the committee now wish to proceed in camera to discuss the observations appended to the report? Agreed?
Is there a reason why this is done in camera?
It doesn't need to be done in camera. It's at the discretion of the committee. If you want to do it.
I would prefer that it be done in an open meeting.
Any objections? Okay, away we go then. No need to read the in-camera script. Okay, we will proceed with the discussion, and you have in front of you the observations that were distributed earlier, including an additional one from Senator Cardozo. And I believe the way we will proceed is to recognise the validity of each other's observations and not to debate them unless we feel it's absolutely necessary or to comment on them. So in a way, this is a way of, I might use the term proceeding by division. And each senator's or groups of senators' observations will be marked together with either their group name or just the names of the individuals proposing the observation. So that being said, are there any comments, regardless of that, on any of the observations? All right.
Do you want the observations to be written out by group or by senator?
Right. Yes.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question, Chair?
Yep.
So, first of all, I agree with the proposal. You had suggested that earlier. So, at the end of those observations, and I support what you said about who would be presenting them, but would we also be able to voice our objection in the report as well, or only that you would list the names of the senators that had supported it?
Well, look, I think that's a decision for the committee. My thinking was that we would table the observations as we have received them. They would be identified as coming from either individuals or a group, or both in some cases, and that we would not begin the process of commenting on one another's observations, or I think we could be here for a very long time, Senator Platt.
Oh, I fully support that. That was not my question. I guess I'm saying that if a group is the ISG senators, and maybe at the end of the day it will be individual names, and then that would solve the problem. Yep. But if it would be ISG senators, that would not necessarily mean that CSG or PSG would be opposed. So if you're listing the individual names, I think that takes care of the problem.
Okay.
Because anybody whose name is not on there would obviously be seen as not supporting that amendment.
Fair enough, and I believe that's the proposal.
And
we
I'm
stick
fine
with
with
names.
that. Yeah.
Okay, we're good then?
May I clarify? Should we identify who'll be listing the names?
I think so. Do we need to clarify that?
I would too.
Okay, so the clerk is again asking me whether or not we would want to indicate any degree of support or not for each observation, or whether we let them stand as they are, all having equal weight, and I was presuming the latter.
If I may.
Yes.
Hi, Senators. Thank you. I'm looking just for in preparing the report. So when we go for the writing the observations, would you like it to show as observations from Senator Cardozo, observations from Senators Platt, Carignan, and Boisvenu?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
That is correct, but in the case of, let's say, Senator Cardozo, if Senator Beam and Dasco and Youssef support that, then their names would be there as well, I'm assuming, or the rest of them. And if my name isn't there, that in itself would indicate that I don't support it. And the reason I'm saying that, Madam Clerk, is because if we do it as a group, I don't think it necessarily indicates that. If we do it by individual names, that would indicate that, especially if the report itself would list the names of the senators that are on the committee.
Okay. So then in that case, for each of the observation, we would like to know which senators support, which one would go through each of them.
Okay. All right, so we will go through each observation and we will test which senators are supportive of each observation. All right, good. That will keep it clear. Senator Kutcher, is that okay? Okay. All right.
So we can start with Senator Dasco.
So let's start with Senator Dasco's. Those who will do a straight test.
Yeah, if you raised hands. And
Yep, so let's raise hands then, those who are supportive of Senator Dasco's observation.
I can read them out.
Yes.
So I have Senators Dasco, Senator Dean, Senator Kutcher, Senator Youssef, Senator Cardozo, Senator Beam, Senator Harder, Senator Deakin.
Okay, thank you. And let's now move to Senator Dean. Those in favour?
I have Senator Dean, Senator Deakin, Ontario, Senator Harder, Senator Beam, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher, and Senator Sénateur Dagenet.
Okay. Senator Kucher's observations. Let's do the count there.
I have Senator Dean, Senator Deakin, Ontario, Senator Harder, Senator Beam, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher. Et Sénateur Dagenet.
Senator Youssef.
Senator Dean, Sénateur Dagenet, Senator Deakin, Ontario, Senator Harder, Senator Beam, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher.
And that was on with respect to sports shooting. And Senator Youssef's second observation.
Senator Dean, Senator Dagenet, Senator Deakin, Ontario, Senator Harder, Senator Beam, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher.
And Senator Youssef's third observation dealing with family heirloom handgun transfers.
Senator Dean, Senator Dagenet, Senator Deakin, Ontario, Senator Harder, Senator Beam, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher.
Okay, and so next, Senator Cardozo.
Senator Dean, Sénateur Dagenet, Senator Deakin, Senator Harder, Senator Cardozo, Senator Dasco, Senator Youssef, and Senator Kucher.
We now move to Conservative Senators' observations. And let's see.
Which one are we at now, Art?
We're at the Conservatives, yes.
We have Senator Plett, Senator O, et Sénateur Carignan.
Okay. So we are done. Thank you, colleagues, for that and for helping us choose a method of endorsement. You also have in front of you proposed introductory language to the observations that have been prepared by our analysts, Anne-Marie and Ariel. A one-pager translated, just recording the number of witnesses and the mix of witnesses and officials that we heard from. Is there agreement to the observations being preceded by this statement? Great, thank you, colleagues. Is it agreed that the Subcommittee on Agenda and Procedure be empowered to approve the final version of the observations being appended to the report in both official languages, taking into consideration today's discussion and with any necessary editorial, grammatical or translation changes as required? Agreed or not? Thank you, that's agreed. Is it agreed that I report this bill with observations to the Senate? Colleagues, this brings us to the end of our work on C21 at this committee and to the end of our meeting today. I want to thank members around the table for your cooperation and collaboration and participation this evening and throughout the course of this study. It hasn't been an easy one. It's required us to sort through some issues and some challenges, and we've done that together, and everybody's played their part in doing that. And in that respect, I could not have had a better group of colleagues to work with, and I thank you for all of the effort that you've put into this. I will say that in a broader sense, this is the end of a year of achievement for us. We spent a year studying national security and defence in the Arctic. It opened our eyes to the realities of defence, security and infrastructure in the North, and is still attracting attention. We learned a lot, but I think this committee contributed a lot to understanding and discussions of work in the North, and has elicited some responses from the government. C21, we moved on to. This has been a long haul. Again, I think there's been a spirit of cooperation throughout. I want to thank my steering committee colleagues, Senators Dagenet, Boisvenu and Anderson, for their hard work and collaboration, which sometimes has involved 7 days a week. I am nothing but proud to work with the members of this committee who are collaborative, thoughtful, and bring a great deal of judgment and care to the work that we do, including the way that we treat one another at this committee. I thank Erica DuPont, our clerk, who is steadfast and has supported me and all of us again through this tough year and through this very challenging study. And I now turn to Anne-Marie Terrien Tremblay and Ariel Shapiro, who are, I'm going to call you our quiet but steadfast backbone and spine in terms of the work that you do for us, including the work that you've turned around on the observations and the support you've provided to us, but the massive amount of work that went into the Arctic study, which could not have been done without you. It is a privilege to work with you all. At the same time, I thank our translators. I thank those people who deal with our technology and our audio issues, our pages, and to all the others in this room, including our staff, who are the workhorses who keep us going and make a remarkably strong and important contribution to the Senate, to this committee and everything that we do. So thank you to staff in the room. I understand that Senators Platt and Senator Youssef would like to say a few words. Senator Platt.
Thank you, Chair, and you did a good job of thanking everybody. I want to just take a minute, Chair, on behalf of the Conservative Caucus, so thanking you. You made this committee work. You have been cooperative with us in some of our requests that we had. I appreciate that. We certainly have not and probably will not agree on the bill, and that will be evidenced later yet in the Senate chamber as we further discuss this. But I have not been a regular member of this committee for some time. I used to be. I always enjoyed it. But as the ex officio member in our caucus, being here for the last number of weeks, even though it has been hard because of our differences of opinion, you ran very good meetings, and I personally appreciate that and thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot to me, Senator Platt. Thank you. Senator Youssef.
Yes, certainly I'd like to express my sincere thanks for the way and how you manage us. When we started, I don't know if we were going to get through the number of witnesses we had before us, but I think a lot of that came because of the cooperation, both from you, but also the guidance from steering in that. And in the context, of course, any bill that I think, from my history of reading the Senate proceedings on gun bill, they've never been easy coming to a committee, but I think we've worked well in the context of all the witnesses we had to get through within the time frame that we did. And thank you for your leadership. Thanks, steering, for their work. But equally, I thank my friend again, because I know this would not have been possible without the collaboration of trying to find common ground to move the bill forward. So sincere thanks, and I look forward to the debate in the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Youssef. Senator Deakin, Ontario.
And I just want to actually do a point of clarification, if I could, because I think there will be questions that were asked as we move forward. I'm happy that this is going into the Senate for a very important next step with the bill. We had observations last week that were presented, and as I understand them today, there are now more specific with names attached to the observations we did last week. Then we had observations presented today from the conservative group, and I would say that there's probably content in observations last week that conservatives couldn't live with, and there's content in the conservative ones that we can live with. When this was presented as we move forward, it's presented as observations in sort of two distinct groupings. Would that be the correct language? Okay. Because I think that's what a fair question. When we go back in the third reading, we will be asked, what'd you say about this? How'd you respond to that? And I just want to make sure I'm really clear of it. And thank you again very much for making a tough process efficient.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Well, our work is done. I thank our sponsor. I thank our critic. I thank our leadership colleagues who've joined us. Senator Plett, Senator Laboucaine-Benson, Senator Gold has been here as well. And I think we now move on, and we look forward to the work in the chamber. And again, thank you all. And with that, I wish you the best for the holidays, for safe and happy holidays. But we'll be seeing one another plenty before then. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everyone.